And your clicker.
Podium, yes. Behavior, maybe.
Hold that loosely.
Okay. So first I want to say before we get started that we are incredibly fortunate to have an embarrassment of riches in this club when it comes to talent and effort and commitment. So choosing winners in any given year is a really challenging process. It's not something that's easy. I want to thank all of you that submitted suggestions for potential award winners. Please understand that they were heard and considered by the awards committee. I want to especially thank, before we get started, our new member, Anya Richmond, who's right out there. Anya led the awards committee. She also wrote for an award that we won at the district level. And so we have a lot to be grateful for. Thank you, Anya. She also did the whiz-bang part of the PowerPoint presentation, which I am apparently incompetent to accomplish on my own. So thank you for that too, Anya. I also want to thank Joe Tilson and Marty Evans and John Sullivan, who all participated in the committee and helped get these awards done. So without further ado, funny, it's 26-27, but you know, we didn't have Carl to do the editing on this one. Okay, so our first award, you're going to be surprised to learn this person is not here because it's our Remotarian Award. This is a member of the club who manages to still be an active participant even without being present here. This is going to be a shocking award winner. For those that have been to the awards in the past few years, you may recognize this person. So, member since 2012. Proud UF fan. Super involved with Rotary Youth Exchange. Club president 21-22. Lives in Lisbon. That's a pretty big clue. Jodstam. All right. By way of quick update, Chad's wife and son, Chad's my brother-in-law, for those that don't know that, we're married to fraternal twins. Chad's wife and son will be coming back on Monday, and Chad comes back the following week. So we should be seeing him here very soon. And that will give others an opportunity to win the Remotarian next year, perhaps. All right. Before I go any further, I thanked Anya, I thanked the committee. There's two people that, if there were awards to be given every year, and that's something that the committee attempts not to do, right? We try to spread the wealth of the awards around so that we're not selecting the same people year in and year out. And believe me, we do have a chart with 25 plus years of club awards that we look at to help us determine that we're not favoring any one person or group too much. But there are two people that, if it were up to me, would win an award every year. The first is Tyler, who every single year, every single meeting, we depend on Tyler to put our AV programs together. He has help from other folks at his company, but the truth is, without Tyler, you wouldn't be able to hear my stupid jokes. So thank you, Tyler. And I don't want to ruffle any feathers when I say this, but if there is one person, and I'm sure Doug is figuring this out quickly, if there is one person who is absolutely critical to the success of our club, it is Vanessa Mead. She doesn't like to be recognized. She prefers to be hiding in the background, but the truth is, without her, our meetings would be substantially less successful. Our club would be less successful, and we are truly very lucky to have you. Thank you, Vanessa. Okay, next up, here we go. The Unite for Good Award. This is the annual theme award. Member since 2022, new member. Graduate of CU Boulder. Owned a retail store on Pearl Street. Anybody starting to figure out who this is? No? Okay. Avid tennis player, getting closer. Chair of the 25-26 Service Above Self Gala. Sponsored by Jancy and Mike Brady. Leslie Hers. All right. I have not seen Leslie today. Is she out there and I'm just not seeing her? All right. Well, I'm sad to hear that, but we will definitely make sure to get her award as soon as we see her. Okay. Next up is our Quiet Hero Award. These are the people that make the club go, but are not necessarily as out front or talkative as yours truly. All right. Member since 2006, 20 years in. Fluent Spanish speaker. Retired BVSD educator. I think you guys may be starting to figure this one out. Brought the Adelante program to BRC. Chair of the Boulder Rotary Scholarship Committee. Sponsored by Sasha Millstone. Our own Michelle Dubé. And if you are present, please come accept your award and take a quick picture. Thank you. What? Okay. All right. Moving right along. Our Quick Start Award goes to a new member, less than 2 years in the club, who hits the ground running and makes a significant impact on the club. This was a very difficult one to choose. There are some outstanding new members in the club, and so this was not an easy selection. This person's been a member since 2025. Participated in the 2025-26 Service Above Self Gala Committee, co-chair of the Red Badge Committee, member of the Tech Committee, trustee of the foundation, sponsored by award winner this year, Leslie Hers. Kathy Heidebrecht. Rick, you've got a lot to live up to, buddy. Congratulations.
All right, no worries. One more time, sorry.
Photo op.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Kathy. Okay, next is our Service Above Self Award. Member since 2023, CSU graduate, leader at a major local nonprofit, helped stand up one of the largest temporary shelters in Boulder after the fire, club president-elect, sponsored by Daryl, Jen Spedel.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jen. You know, we tried to narrow it to just 5 bullets for each person, so this wouldn't take forever. But with a lot of these folks, there were so many potential bullets. There were a lot of people that were instrumental to the gun safe giveaway this year. Constance obviously led the charge in many respects, but Jen behind the scenes and folks that led Interact clubs like Joe Tilson, those Interact kids were fantastic. But Jen literally took a truck and picked up all of the safes that we gave away. And on the day was like a field marshal telling everybody where to go and what to do. And that was a huge reason why that program was so successful. And that's just one of so many things that she's doing for our club. So we are very lucky to have you, Jen. Okay, our humanitarian award. Member since 2023. PPE committee member and committed advocate for environmental sustainability. Retired project manager. Has a daughter that lives in New Zealand. That might have given it away. Co-chair of the World Community Service Committee. Sponsored by Cassidy. Our very own Brian Vickers. Congratulations. Thank you. All right. Now we're going to do a few President's Discretionary Awards. So these are, and I should say, these are sort of special thank yous from me to people that maybe didn't fit perfectly into one of the other awards that we gave this year, but were instrumental in the success of the club over the last year. And so here we go. The Green Machine Award. This was also probably my last opportunity to attempt to be clever. Attempt being the critical component of that phrase. Okay, so this person, member since 2011, spoke to BRC in March of 2024 as our prime speaker. Former city council member in Lafayette. People starting to figure out who this might be? No? Decorated career in law enforcement. Spotlighted in the May 2026 widely distributed issue of Avid Golfer. Sponsored by Dick Bedell, Brad Weasley. All right. Well, my guess is, given the double entendre of Green Machine, he maybe is on a golf course right now, if I had to guess. Our next award winners may not be here either, but let's see. This is the Keys to Success Award. Members since 1986 and 2001. One built a successful law firm in town. One served as executive director of a local nonprofit for 25 years. Both served as presidents of Boulder Rotary Club. They've been married for more than 55 years. John and Lena Kotke. All right. It's possible they may be traveling and spending time with grandkids right now. It's a little anticlimactic when they're not here to accept their awards, but John and Lena were incredibly helpful. Lena helped us to identify an international service project, which we are going to on that trip from the 23rd to the 30th of January. You'll be hearing from me soon because I'm going to ask folks to make final commitments and make kind of down payments on the trip. So that'll be news that you hear about soon. And John, in dealing with some contract issues that we had as a club, was instrumental in helping work through those things. So really grateful. Now, next award, the Wyoming Army Knife Award. There are some people that can play every position, and this next award recipient could certainly be described in that way. So, member since 2011, CU Boulder grad, former deputy DA here in Boulder, chair of the Boulder Rotary Club Foundation, club president 22-23, sponsored by Alexia Parks, Cassidy Murphy, and Cassidy, I know you're online, so we're missing you right now, but I look forward to giving this to you in person when you are next here.
She said thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks, Tyler. Okay. Next, we got a big one. Our Lifetime Achievement Award. It is exactly what it sounds like. This person has been a member since 2004. Another CU Boulder graduate. Served as a hostess for the equestrian events at the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Anybody know who it is yet? Yeah, you do? Okay, great. Has visited all 7 continents. Club president 2017, 2018. Sponsored by Raleigh Zick. Marty Evans. I think one thing that any president over the last few years would tell you is that Marty is everywhere in this club. I mean, she is so generous with her time and so thoughtful about being present at things. When I was running the Red Badge, she would show up at almost every breakfast. Even if she wasn't speaking, she would just be there to participate, to support new members. She helps lead the club, the caring committee, who sends us all notes and cards to honor our achievements and be with us in those sad moments as well. We are very lucky to have her. So, Marty, I look forward to seeing you next. Okay, our last award. Thank you for indulging me. I think I'm actually running ahead of schedule. Okay, Rotarian of the Year. Well, you guys can guess what this one stands for. This person's been a member since 2017. Expert in state legislatures, elections, and public opinion. Holds a PhD from WashU St. Louis. Club president 23-24. Meister of the Brew Crew. Our very own Carl Kurtz. Yes. Outside of Vanessa, there's probably not a single person who was more helpful to me last year as president than Carl. He's an incredible editor. He's a wonderful sounding board. I truly feel grateful for all the help that he gave me last year. And I think as a club, we're so lucky to have him. I mean, if you remember when he took over the brew, it was a PowerPoint presentation. And now it's like a Hollywood production every week. The growth in that, and at the same time, co-chairing our program committee and week after week, helping us identify and bring on phenomenal speakers. This week being an exception, but in fairness to Carl, he didn't pick me. So there's that. I guess as a last word, one thing I'd like to just say is to reiterate that there are so many wonderful contributors in our club, so many people that are deserving of awards, and a limited number of awards to bestow each year. If you didn't get an award this year, please understand it's a hard choice each year, and there are many of you that also deserved awards this year. Also, please join the awards committee, because then you can have some influence on who wins these awards. Thanks, everybody.
So we do have one more award. I know this person is present. So Bill, I do love how maybe you didn't do it intentionally, but you lingered up here. And it does remind me of a couple of nights ago, we had about 35 former football players come back to play a touch 7-on-7 game with the current varsity players. Most of those kids who came back were my son's age, who just graduated, 19 years old, versus like 18-year-old. And the biggest conflict was who was going to go Skins. They all wanted to go Skins because they were in the best shape of their lives. But these seniors who are currently going to be the main people, they feel that they are the guys. Yet these other guys coming back, they're like, not so fast. It's like, we got one more game to play. And it just made me think, Bill, like the honor and the opportunity and how special it is to lead a club like this. Granted, I'm 1/12 into this whole thing, but I see it and I feel it, and I feel it every day. I think of you guys every day. And Bill, I know you do the same. So we do have an award for you. The board met last month and we took up a collection, but this award is really from the club. And Karen, where's Karen? Karen's out here somewhere. Yeah, Karen led point on this. So I do have the award here. I'm going to unpack it, then I'm going to have you come up here to receive it.
I just want to say Doug can be Skins.
Yeah. Doug is not 19. Yeah. Very, very, very clever. So when Karen and I were talking with the board about what should we give Bill in terms of recognition for his tremendous leadership in the club and like coming in hot, right? Like I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Stripes, but he's been our big toe for the last year. And I was thinking, geez, what would I want? It's like, you don't need money. Well, we all need money, but that's not a thing. Or a gift certificate. It's like, if I were Bill, I would want something that I could put on my shelf in my office in a safe space where after work I can glance at it and I can remember all the wonderful times that Bill hopefully had with committees or dealing with whatever the issues are. So we do have an award here. I don't know if you can see it clearly. It says, thank you, Bill Anderson, Boulder Rotary Club President 25-26. Nice emblem of Rotary International, where good people get together to do great things. Bill? He needs to take his shirt off. The last word here, Bill? No, okay. I have no idea what time it is, but when you get former presidents up here on an ad hoc presentation, we'll see how this agenda goes. 12:53. We're okay. Oh, we're like in perfect timing here. So we do have a second presentation with Bill Meyer here on celebrating the Road of Remembrance. I've seen the slides, so Bill, why don't you come up here and share with us this pretty awesome project, and I think you guys will see what we're talking about when you see the slides.
Yeah, it's always a bit daunting to follow Bill Anderson and now Doug. I was president a while back, and for those of you that have been with the club for a while, you probably are familiar with the saga of the pillars. For those of you who are new to the club, this is a project we started about 5 years ago to preserve these two stone pillars that sit in the middle of a busy intersection at 95th and Arapahoe. If you've lived in Boulder County very long, you undoubtedly have seen these pillars. But if you're like most of us, you didn't know what they were. They were actually constructed.
You're not hitting a button.
What's that? It's been a while. Got a new clicker.
New clicker. Move that down arrow.
All right. They were originally constructed back in 1928. And the reason why they were constructed is on a plaque.
Bill, stand closer to the mic.
I'm sorry. It's been a while. The reason why they were constructed is on a plaque that very few people have ever read. And that plaque talks about how these two pillars were constructed as a gateway to a road of remembrance to honor those that served from Boulder County in World War I. It was built by the Lions Club. The Lions Club no longer exists in Boulder, but it was built in 1921 as a gateway. And this is what it looked like in 1928. It was out in the middle of nowhere. Those of you that know the area now, a fair number of you probably live out in that part of the world. I certainly do. Back in the day, it was literally in the middle of nowhere, out in the East County. It was a dirt road when they started the construction, Arapahoe was. And that's what it looks like now. And so the challenge that we took up about 5 years ago as a club, along with probably a dozen other veterans and civic and historic preservation groups, is to try and preserve those. And after the construction was done, after it was over, CDOT finally realized that mistakes had been made, and they did a survey, and I'm not going to read this to you, but they found out, lo and behold, that when they allowed that construction to proceed, there had been several violations of state law, unacceptable impacts on the pillars, et cetera, et cetera. And so CDOT appointed what they refer to as a mitigation working group led by Boulder Rotary to come up with a way to try and preserve, or in CDOT lingo, mitigate the impacts that the road construction project had had on those pillars. After several years and a couple of false starts, the mitigation working group has come up with a plan to actually move those pillars, which now are at US 287 and Arapahoe, about 1.5 miles west to Atlas Valley, the southwest corner of 95th and Arapahoe. That's what's there now. It's Atlas Valley. Cindy Cohagen's family is heavily involved, and they've offered to make land available for the pillars to be moved there. Would be right on the Road of Remembrance. It's not where it was originally started, but CDOT has plans to expand Arapahoe basically from Boulder to I-25, a minimum of 5 lanes. That intersection will probably be 10 lanes at some point, because it'll have dedicated bus lanes, et cetera, et cetera. And so those pillars can't stay there. So what the working group has done and has come up with a proposal We've had done surveys, had engineering work done, et cetera, to create a new Remembrance Plaza. You saw where, the area we circled before, where there's a rock feature at Atlas Valley at the moment. The plan, the proposal is to move the pillars there and create what we'll call Remembrance Plaza, which will be the home for the pillars and will also contain signage and other amenities so that people can actually understand what those pillars stand for and understand the service and the sacrifices made by the 1,500 plus people, men and women from Boulder County that served in World War I. Now, one other aspect of this that's also sort of been lost, even more lost than the pillars, was there was supposed to be a Road of Remembrance. Remember I told you that the pillars are the gateway to the Road of Remembrance. And the Road of Remembrance was supposed to be from what's now US 287, in those days it was called the Lincoln Highway, along Arapahoe to Boulder, be lined with trees, thousands of trees, parks, lakes, etc. It was a grandiose plan. And that was to honor those 1,500 plus people I just talked about. Well, that was never officially done. Back in 1928, there was no such thing as memorial highways, etc. There were barely paved roads. So this March, working with Kyle Brown and several other of the local legislators, the state General Assembly adopted a resolution formally designating that stretch of Arapahoe as the Road of Remembrance. The Road of Remembrance now officially stretches from US 287 to 28th Street in Boulder. It's also Colorado Highway 7, so it's part of the CDOT system. And there are signs that are under construction as we speak, or at least I'm told they're under construction as we speak, that will go up to mark that Memorial Highway. Now, as part of that memorial, we're sponsoring a dedication event on September 15th of this year from 10 to 11 o'clock at the Lafayette YMCA on the athletic field, which is right next to the Road of Remembrance, where we'll dedicate the Road of Remembrance officially. All of you were invited to come. In fact, all of you were encouraged to come. We're hoping to have a good turnout. It'll only be an hour, but it should be very interesting because we're going to present in a couple of different ways the history of the Road of Remembrance, but also the stories of some of the 1,500 plus individuals who served. And I think you'll find that fascinating. One of the things we sort of forget, you say 1,500 plus individuals served in World War I from Boulder County. When you do the math, that works out to a little over 30% of the males between 18 and 42 that lived in Boulder County. Translate that to today. If you translated that today, it would, I tried to do the math a while back based on the 2020 census, and it was something like 32,000 people from Boulder County in the same percentages would have served. So it was a really big deal back then. You know, you can say, it's the old cliche, well, everybody knew somebody. That was true. Everybody knew somebody that served in World War I, probably dozens of them. Now, one of the things we're trying to do, and really why I'm up here today to talk to you about it, is we're trying to identify the descendants of those 1,500 plus people who served in World War I. We've actually been able to put together a list, which we think is pretty complete, of all of the individuals who served in the armed services during World War I. 99.9% of them are men, but there were a few women. And we've also found the names of a few women who served from Boulder County that served in the Red Cross as nurses, and they're on the list. That list is posted on the Historic Boulder website. Historic Boulder is one of the partners in this effort. And you can go to it and look at it. And on everybody's table should be a flyer like this. It has a QR code. If you don't like QR codes, there's a URL that you can type in. If you don't like that, just Google Historic Boulder and go to their website. It pops right up. And on that website, there's a list, 1,500 plus names of the individuals who served. And what we're asking everybody to do, particularly those of you that have been in Boulder County for any extended period of time, to look at that list and help us identify descendants who live, let's say, within 50 miles of Boulder or of Lafayette, so that we can get in touch with them and invite them and honor them, and by their being present, honor their ancestors who served during the war. This is what the list will look like. It's got names, where they came from, and where they were buried, their dates of birth and death. You may not recognize them directly, but it may jog a memory. Oh, well, yeah, I went to school with Betty Adams. I think her father's name was Chuck. Get us that information. Some of you, in fact, I know there are at least a couple in this room, are descendants of people who served in World War I. But we know there are more out there, and we need your help to identify them. So if you've got any ideas, even if it's just a wisp of a memory, get it to me or to Cindy Cohagen or to Marty, who's not here today, or Hans or Leslie Durgan. We're all on the committee, and we really, really enjoy hearing from you. Lastly, I'm going to stick around after this meeting and would love to have any of you that would like to come over and chat about this, if you've got some ideas. And I actually have Cindy and others, a woman named Gail Elias, who's very knowledgeable about this, have tried to whittle down to, instead of 1,500 names to go through, a much smaller number, 100 or so names of people we think, yeah, they probably have descendants in this area. And so if you've got a few minutes and could just sit down with us, go through that list and say, oh, that name sounds familiar, oh, I know that person, or I knew his daughter, that would, again, really help us. So I'll be here when the meeting's over. I'll have the list. You just want to glance through it. I know you'll recognize some of the names. I guarantee you'll recognize some of the names. But hopefully there'll be some that we haven't located yet that you'll be able to help us with. Anyway, thank you. And again, we'll be featuring this on the brew, in the rib. But September 15th, if you've got some time and would like to learn a little more about Boulder history, we'd love to have you come join us. Thanks.